welcome to another video with me, Positive Pussy. Today I'm going to be getting birth control. But actually, I also wanted to do a video after my second weekend of training to be a sex educator because I realized there was some stuff I could probably clarify for y'all surrounding hormones and birth control. So the first thing I wanted to say is that the hormones that were in the implant just did not work for me. Just because I had a bad reaction or a bad experience with this particular brand and this particular hormone does not mean that you will also have that same experience that I had. The reason why I'm sharing my experience is because I want other people who already have the implant, who might be experiencing some similar things to me, I want them to be able to feel less alone in their negative experiences with it, and maybe help people get an idea of what they can do in the situation. Or for people who have had the implant removed, can feel some solidarity in that they did not agree with the implant. Also, because it's just generally educational for people to know the different reasons why someone who basically has her choice of birth controls would choose one birth control over another one and the reasons why that might be. But the hormonal implant could work wonders for you, and it could be the one birth control to rule them all, the one that you are absolutely in love with and that you will never want to change. And it also may not, for a number of reasons. For me, it had pros and it also had cons, so that's why I'm switching. This is my hormonal journey and yours might be completely different, or you may have some similarities to mine. Whatever the case is, if you're choosing a birth control for yourself, there's no way to be sure how a hormone can affect your body. Everyone is unique. The one thing that you can do is possibly ask your close family members like mothers or sisters and see how certain birth controls affected them. That can only give you a good idea of what might work for you, but even then, the only one way to know for sure if a birth control is right for you is for you to try it yourself. Once you try it, there may be something else that you don't like about it that has nothing to do with the side effects. For example, the pill is really hard to remember to take every single day at the exact same time. You might want something that's a little bit more low maintenance, or you might not want something with hormones at all. When you do try new birth control, it's usually good to give it 3 to 6 months to help your body or to allow your body to adjust and see if you really do like it. And if you really don't like it, after 3 months, that's also a good time to try a new one. Also, I'm not totally opposed to trying a different birth control that has the same hormone that the implant had. The implant was in my arm, and so the hormone was going into my bloodstream. There is an IUD that also has a low dose of progesterone, and that hormone would be more localized, meaning it's being absorbed right into the uterus, so this might affect how my body reacts to it, and it might end up being better for my body, or it might have the exact same effect. I won't know until I try it. However, it's good for me to keep in mind that people with PCOS typically benefit from birth controls that have estrogen in them because the estrogen helps to lessen the symptoms of that. So, all in all, the best kind of birth control is very subjective, meaning it really depends on the person who is taking it. I have recently been informed of a really great website called bedsider.org. It's an amazing resource on birth control methods, and also, of course, Planned Parenthood is a really good resource for information on that. Be aware that there are some birth controls that are more effective than others at first glance, but there are some factors that will weigh into the effectiveness, like your weight or how well you can remember to use the birth control. And by effectiveness, I mean how well the birth control keeps you from getting pregnant. I talked about emergency contraceptives in the past, like Plan B, Ella, the copper IUD. Those are all 3 choices for emergency contraception. However, if you need emergency contraception and you don't have access to it, if you have access to birth control pills and you don't have the money to afford emergency contraception, or you don't have time to make an appointment to get prescribed Ella or get the IUD. There is a chart you can look up online, and I'm also going to post a link to it. But it's a chart that lists all the brands of birth control pills and what dose you would need to take of each of those for them to work as emergency contraceptive. Because the hormones in pills like Plan B are the same as the birth control pills that you take every day, just in a more concentrated and higher dose, it is possible to take a birth control pill like 5 pills, depending on the brand, so definitely look it up on the chart, but it's usually more than like 3 or 4. And that will also help work as emergency contraceptive, which means it's going to help delay ovulation so that the sperm will die before the egg actually gets released, which might prevent you from getting pregnant. It's not going to remove a fertilized egg from the body already, or destroy it or kill it or anything like that. In an emergency, if you do need emergency contraceptive, and it's even more of an emergency that you can't get it, birth control pills can work, and you should definitely follow the chart that I'm going to post. These are also less effective if you are over a certain weight, so just make sure you check on that. The last thing I wanted to clarify after my weekend of learning is that of the hormones of menstruation. Did that make sense? So there are 2 hormones that I did not mention when I was talking about menstruation, aka periods, and that's the luteinizing hormone, which 2 weeks before your period, there's a spike in luteinizing hormone, which causes your body to ovulate. And this is important because a luteinizing hormone does cause some changes in your body. For example, it can raise your temperature a little bit, which is why following your basal body temperature as a method for birth control, so like the fertility awareness method. So this is around the time that you will be the most fertile. Sperm can stay alive in your body for up to 5 days. So a few days before you ovulate and a few days after is probably when you're most susceptible to getting pregnant. Just an FYI that you're not always equally likely to get pregnant. So the other hormone I didn't mention was the HCG, which is the hormone that pregnancy tests for. As soon as a fertilized egg implants into the uterus, your body starts producing HCG. And pregnancy tests can only accurately give you a reading of the HCG, so basically positive or negative. Do you have it? Do you not have it? It can only tell you positive if there is enough HCG in your body. So you can have a false negative, meaning it says you're not pregnant, but you actually are if you take the test too soon. If you had sex and you think that you might have gotten pregnant from it and you want to take a pregnancy test, you have to wait at least 10 days after the conception, so after the failed birth control sex or unprotected sex, before a test can really pick up the hormone in your urine, so before it can tell you that you are indeed pregnant or not pregnant. So those were the things that I wanted to clarify after my amazing weekend of learning about sex. I had a great time this past weekend, and I'm really sad to be halfway done, but that means soon I will hopefully be a sex educator, so I'm really excited for that time to come. Woo! Until then, I'm just going to be doing my best, still trying to educate everybody about sex as much as possible. Today, this is an unnumbered video because it is just my personal birth control hormone journey. Once again, me talking about my period. So today is Wednesday, and oh my god. Today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, and so this is the first day that I haven't been bleeding since Wednesday or Thursday. Why is it so hard to remember the first day of your period? I mean, seriously. So I'm thinking that maybe my period is finally over and I'm ready to get some new birth control, and I'm kind of excited. I don't know. This past weekend, I did learn about birth control, and we talked about pregnancy and periods and all of that fun stuff that I've been dealing with my whole life. Not my whole life. Since 7th grade, I guess. But anyway, it was kind of sad for me to learn about all of these birth controls and having anxiety that none of them are going to work for me. I don't know why I'm kind of freaking out about it, because I guess that I'm just worried, a little bit scarred and nervous that another birth control option is going to be just as difficult or just as bad. So what I've decided is that I'm going to try Nurx, Nurx. It's a birth control delivery service, and I think what I'm going to do is try the patch. So the reasons why I'm thinking about going with the patch is because, first of all, I don't have to take it every day. Second, it does have estrogen in it, so it could possibly help with my symptoms of PCOS. Another reason why I wanted to do the patch over the pill is because the patch, just like the implant, offers a very steady stream of hormones because it's being absorbed by your skin constantly, rather than the pill. You take the pill and then you digest it, so the hormones in your body do spike once you digest the pill. So it's kind of like you take the pill and then over time until you take the next pill, they start to drop. So basically, if I had the patch on my skin, it would be being absorbed 24/7. So it's a steady stream of hormones rather than the pill, which is not a steady stream. So there is something called the progesterone only pill, which is it's also referred to as the mini pill. And so it's progesterone only. The reason why some people do opt in for progestin only is because estrogen can have some side effects for people who are over the age of 35, smoke, or have a history of blood clots or heart disease, cardiovascular disease. The reason why is because estrogen is the hormone that makes blood clots. So if you're smoking or already have a history of blood clots in your family, then this pill increases that risk. So if you're over 35, that risk increases even more. So that's the reason why people do sometimes opt for progestin only. I'm not over 35, I'm not a cigarette smoker, and I don't think I have any history of cardiovascular disease in my family. So I think that the estrogen would be a good idea for me, especially since it does help with PCOS symptoms. There's also the ring, and I could totally use the ring. The only thing about the ring is that I'm worried I'm not going to be able to put it in right. So if you don't use the birth control correctly, it's not as effective. So if I can't put it in right, then, if I get pregnant, then it's my goddamn fault. So there's the patch. Sadly, the patch only comes in beige. Not that I have very dark skin, but it's sad for those people who do, because then it's harder to hide. It says you apply and change the patch each week for 3 weeks, and then you go patch free for the 4th week, but I do not want to get my period. So they say for skipping your period, you just take the patch off and put on another one. So the patch does become less effective after day 7. Is that true? So basically what I would do is, instead of wearing it for 10 days, because it seems a little bit riskier, it might lose effectiveness after day 7, because it does say to change it after 7 days. So I will follow those instructions. I'll just wear a patch, wear a patch, wear a patch, and the 4th week when I'm supposed to get my period, I'll just wear another patch instead. That way I don't get my period. Hopefully that will help. The only problem with that is that I'm going to need 4 patches a month rather than 3, because there's 4 weeks in a month. Okay, so I'm going to go through the thing, and I'm going to see what pills it recommends me, because yes, the patch sounds great because it's easy, has the right hormones that I want, and it works for my mom pretty well, so it might work for me pretty well. I don't know. I will try it and see, but I want to see what pills it's going to recommend me, because I just want to see what kind of options possibly I could have. So the only thing I don't like about this website is that if you answer certain questions certain ways, it just doesn't recommend any. It just is like, there's nothing here. If you click on the ring or the patch, there's only one brand of each, and that's not with this website. That's just there's only one brand of a ring or patch on the market available anyway. But if you go through, so I answered, yes, I have experienced, and yes, I am concerned about acne, but also when I said, yes, I want to be able to skip periods when I want to, it just comes up with no choice. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. So I'm going to click no, that I don't want to be able to skip periods. And so, yes, I am concerned about acne. It recommends orthotricycline and Tri-Sprintec. On the Tri-Sprintec, it tells you that that's not recommended for skipping periods. But I wonder why that is. But it tells you that it's not recommended for skipping periods. So that's really cool. It lists some brands that are similar that are better for skipping periods. So I'm going to log in and see if I can get the patch. That would be really cool. Birth control is cool. Birth control is cool. Keeps me from getting pregnant. So luckily I have been to the doctor recently so that I actually can check up on what my height, my weight, and my blood pressure are. But if you don't know these things, then you should definitely go get a checkup. Or you can just go weigh yourself, measure yourself, see how tall you are, and then you can go to CVS and get your blood pressure from one of those blood pressure machines. Alright, so I'm going through answering these questions, seeing if I can get the patch. Holy shit, that's so expensive. So because I cannot afford the patch, I guess I'm gonna go with the pill. Half of the struggle with this whole birth control thing is no matter if I do find the birth control that's right for me, I can't afford to pay for it out of pocket. My insurance kind of sucks. There's a really high copay. I don't think that they even help me at all with birth control because at the pharmacy, the pills that I was going to purchase were going to be $200. You know, another thing that goes into the choice for birth control is price. And for somebody that is just independent, living on her own, you know, that's something I definitely have to consider. It was going to be $400 for the patch. And even though that seems like a good choice for me, I'm going to have to go with something else just based on affordability. I can't afford any good birth controls. $80 a pack, and I need to buy 3 packs. So yeah, that's over $200. Again, I can't afford the kind that I was going to get. So Nurx basically is just a pharmacy. They're giving you a prescription for the birth control, and you can buy the birth control from them, but you're still going to have to pay for it the same way you would at a regular pharmacy. So what I need to do is, there's no option on here to pick a cheap birth control. So if price is a factor, they don't ask you any questions about that. They just basically ask you questions about your health and stuff. And yes, that's important, but obviously that's not the only thing that I'm considering here, especially since I cannot afford even 1 pack of birth control. $80 a month is too expensive for me. And yes, a baby would be more expensive, but I can't afford it anyway, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. So they're not telling you how much it is. They're just giving you one option for the $5 birth control. So you know what? I'm going to try the $5 birth control. Fuck it. I mean, I need birth control. I don't have that many options. But this is why it's so hard for me to like find a birth control that's right for me, because no matter what, even if I find the right one or I find something that I feel like would work, there's always some sort of obstacle in the way of me getting it or being able to get it. And I know it's not that big of a deal, but for me it is, because like being able to control, you know, when I get pregnant or if I get pregnant is a really big deal for me, for someone that doesn't want kids. Okay, so I put my credit card in, my address and everything. The brand of birth control pill that they are offering for $5 without insurance is the Sprintec combination pill, and this is also one that they say you should not skip periods with. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to see what it's like. I know you're supposed to try birth controls for 3 months. So after this, it's $15 without insurance. But I think I can put my insurance in afterwards. So they will send me 3 packs per refill. But for right now, they're sending me 1 month supply. If I really don't like it, I will go to Planned Parenthood and get a birth control that I do like, that I can afford, because Planned Parenthood will not charge you too much if you can't afford it. So that's a really good resource for people who are like me, who don't have very much money. A lot of my money goes towards rent and bills and stuff like that. I don't have that much money to just spend, especially not $200 or $80 a month. I mean, the withdrawal method has been working fine for now. Depends on the person you're with, but for some people it can be a reliable method. For my partner and I, it just happens to be. We also use condoms though, so it's not always withdrawal. And it's not like he's withdrawing and then immediately coming. It's usually like he'll withdraw and then wait a while, and I will give him a blowjob or something like that, just so that there's no ejaculation inside of me, but we still are able to have sex. I'm really sad to hear or to see that I won't be able to get the brands that I want for that price, and I'm also sad to see that they don't show you how much it's going to cost before you pick one out. So if you go through the questions and it does happen to show you birth control that's like, yeah, here's all the stuff, it meets all your needs, and then you go through everything and then you realize, oh wait, it's still like over $200 a month or whatever the case is, then that would be really disheartening, which it was for me. So as you can tell, I seem a little bit less uppity because birth control is a huge stress for me right now. I don't want to take a risk on something expensive. Let's say I did get the patch and it was, $400, and somehow I was like, okay, I can afford this, which I can't, but let's say I could, and I tried it and I hated it. Well, that's, money that I spent that I just caused more problems for myself. So it's definitely something that I'm considering very carefully. And yes, I did just say fuck it and get this $5 birth control, but I figured it's worth it to try it, especially since it is only $5. So like I said, if I really need to, Planned Parenthood is an option, but for me, I like to use it as more of like a last resort. They're helpful and they're there, but they're also there to help people who really do need it. And it's not that I don't need it. I do, clearly, just for purposes of saving resources for people who might really, really need it. So hopefully I don't have to go to Planned Parenthood. Hopefully this birth control works out. I can cancel anytime, and they do have free shipping, and I can probably put my insurance in later. I'm going to try this pill. The worst that could happen is it fucks me up, like the implant did a little bit. Gives me acne, or I react poorly to it mood-wise. At least I know I can always stop taking it. I don't need to go to the doctor and have it surgically removed. I can just stop taking the pills if I really react badly to it. So I'm going to try it. If it works out, then I have a really great, cheap birth control that I'm getting delivered to my house regularly. And that sounds great and amazing and something I can rely on. Awesome. If it doesn't work out, then I'm going to go to Planned Parenthood and see what they can do for me. I will keep all the pussies updated on the goings-on inside my body and life. Sorry about complaining so much. I am actually very privileged to live in California, where I don't need to see a doctor to get birth control, and also there are 2 Planned Parenthoods in my city that I can go to, so I'm super grateful, very lucky, very privileged, and I know I'm complaining a lot, but it just seems like a struggle, and I know that some people have an even harder struggle to get any sort of birth control, so I'm really sorry. And yes, I am really grateful to be living in California and in America in a place where I can access birth control, so it's not as bad as I think it is. And for those of you pussies who are also going through your own personal birth control journeys and struggles, if you'd like to reach out to me, my email is positivepustlive@gmail.com. I have a Twitter @positivepuss, so you can reach out to me, let me know your story, ask me questions, whatever. I'll be happy to help you out picking, what works for you, or give you some resources that you can use to help you find something that's right for you, or whatever I can help with. Alright, pussies, well, go out there and stay protected from conception, however it is that you do that. And if you are trying to have a baby, well then good luck with your conception, rather than good luck not being concepted. Is that a word? Anyway, I will be back this week with my video on kitten play, and that one will be much more lighthearted and educational and fun. So that's all for me. I will see you pussies again soon. Goodbye for meow. Pussies, notice that I got some new ears.